thank you for joining us with our post-Christmas episode.
Hope everyone had a good one.
Hoping everybody had a great Christmas. So the band you just heard there was a band called Trees. So they're a younger band from Ottawa. I just absolutely love this band. That song was called Fetching Bones, and it's from their new CD that they just released in October called Katzanatica. So this is their debut release.
Can you say that again, please?
Katzanatica.
There you go.
All right, and the website to listen, to stream it online and purchase the tunes will be put on the blog. Just if you want to hear them again live, I know I'll be there. It's going to be January 12th at Press Cafe. It is part of the Rock and Rhyme series. So this is another interesting series that Ottawa puts out. It's a night of music and slam poetry. Slam poetry in this city is getting a lot bigger. Like there was a big event a couple weeks ago at Mercury Lounge where they had one of the best slam poetry artists in Canada come from Vancouver. Right?
Sorry, where's that?
That's at Press Cafe. I think that's on Gladstone. So they're the featured artists of the evening. So it's Andrew on guitar, Alex on drums, John on vocals, Alex on guitar, and they were actually just featured on my friend Matthias's blog, blog.ottawashowbox.com. So that's Trees. So thank you very much for joining us today. We just have to say an apology to Sunny for last week.
And to all of our listeners.
And to all of our listeners for
a little bit of technical difficulties.
Yeah, technical difficulties on that mic, but the mic is back and it's in charge today. So
and we will have Sonny back definitely on the show. He was great. We had a great time talking with him.
We learned so much there. So this episode we have the excellent Shane Curry from Curry Insurance with us. And at the end of the episode we'll go through the top places to go to for New Year's Eve. So if you are that procrastinator like myself, I still haven't even decided where to go, we're going to tell you where to go at the end of the episode.
We'll tell you right where to go.
So Shane, welcome. So once again, I'm Nick Pachuski, sorry.
Andrew Miller. And we got Shane Curry. How you doing, Shane?
Good, thanks. Thanks for having me.
No problem.
All right, well, we thought we'd bring Shane on. He is a financial planner. He is an excellent financial planner. Having met with him a few times over the past year. He knows his stuff very well, and it's a great time this time of year. You know, this episode is between the time of Christmas and New Year's where not much gets done. There's not a lot that gets done over this time of year.
Exactly. And you probably have blown most of your money before Christmas on all the gifts, so let's figure out how we can get some of that money back in your pockets.
Exactly, and your New Year's resolution will be to save that money going forward in the new year, so we're going to come up with the tips and all that kind of jazz. So Shane, welcome.
Thank you.
Again. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Like you're a financial planner. You're in here with your grandfather's company.
Yeah. What
keeps you in Ottawa other than just working here at this excellent firm?
Well, I guess a little about me. I was born and raised in Ottawa, so a lot of family ties and roots here. I love the city. There's a lot of things to do, even though people sometimes are always naysayers here and there. But I mean, I overall like the city. I enjoy a lot of the restaurants, the nightlife, the things to do. There's it's a great city overall. So
what are some of those restaurants that you enjoy?
Oh, restaurants. I'm a Westboro guy, so I like Absinthe a lot. It's probably one of my favorite restaurants in the city. Milagros. I also like Vittoria Trattoria. So, I go there quite a bit. So yeah, there's a couple. There's a lot of good spots for sure.
Where can we see you frequenting in the summer? What kind of patios?
I'm down on the market a lot. I like the nature and the atmosphere of the market. So I'm usually
great people watching down there too.
Yeah, exactly. So
absolutely. Yeah. So that's going to be a lot of fun. What about in the summer? What kind of activities do you like to take part of in Ottawa?
In the summer, hanging out at the cottage or at the beach. I play a lot of beach volleyball, so be into that stuff.
Oh, beach volleyball?
Absolutely.
Do you play in any leagues during the summer?
Yeah, I play the Ottawa Competitive Volleyball League. It's that's in the winter. But during the summer, there's Max Volley Men's 2-on-2 league. So.
And that's a beach volleyball league?
It's a beach volleyball league, yeah.
And where's that?
They have a couple different locations. I play at the Shefford and Montreal Road one.
Oh, cool.
Shefford and Montreal? Or
It's on Shefford. Yeah, sorry. It's
that's where
it's the closest intersection. Yeah.
where Chio Barbecue is.
Absolutely. Yeah, same place.
Do you play at that one as well?
Sometimes I'll enter some of those charity tournaments, but just depends on the friends and the numbers we can get for them.
Is there any tournaments for like 2-on-2 volleyball and except for?
Yeah, there's quite a few they have throughout the summer. Yeah.
How can you find out about those kind of?
Just look online. There's lots of websites, especially the Max Volley website. Even if it's not when they're hosting, they'll usually put them on.
Okay, I've never heard of those.
I think it's maxvolley.ca, I believe.
So I'll definitely put that on the site.
Yeah, for sure.
Interested in learn. What about in the winter? Any other activities? Are you a snowboarder, skier?
Yeah, I like skiing. I haven't skied in a while. I used to do it a lot when I was younger, but I hung up the skates a few years ago, so I still like playing outdoor hockey.
You're an ODR guy like myself.
Yeah, I'm definitely an ODR guy, and obviously just hanging out and
tons of great places in the city. Any place in particular you like that the ice always seems to be in tip-top shape? Or
no, I'll just go anywhere. I mean, there's a couple good places in New Orleans I find that are a bit newer than other places, but yeah.
I like the places in the outer skirts, but I still
sometimes you got to drive. I know there's one in Canada that I used to drive out to all the time too. That was always in really good shape.
And we had that huge snowfall right before Christmas.
Oh that was finally.
That was a doozy.
Yeah,
I didn't like driving that Friday.
No, I bet not.
That wasn't a fun drive that day. Eh?
Well, let's talk a little bit. Obviously, Nick and myself are in the housing market quite a bit. Tell us a little bit about your first place that you bought in Ottawa.
My first property I still live in. I bought it in Westboro about 3 years ago, and
that's a good investment, I bet, right there.
Well, hopefully. I mean, I got in, and the market wasn't too low when I bought in either. Mm-hmm. But I really like the area, and I'm fortunate enough to be in a position where I could purchase a home over there. I love being able to walk down and be able to buy your groceries and
absolutely
whatever you need.
So is it more of a condo or?
No, I have a house. Yeah, and then I bought an older home, but I did some renovations to it. So.
That's great. So what about your dream home then? If you were planning on getting a dream home somewhere in Ottawa, where would it be? I mean, obviously everyone's dream home. We're probably sitting on a beach somewhere or up in the mountains. But
what location?
Yeah. So what neighborhood in Ottawa?
I don't know.
Or would you like to stay in Westboro?
I really like Westboro, but I could also live in Alta Vista. I kind of grew up there. You're still close to downtown, a little bit less traffic probably and stuff.
Yeah.
So
some decent property sizes around Alta Vista area.
The land is a lot bigger, fortunately. Yeah. But I mean, so it just depends on a lot of circumstances, I guess.
What's your favorite part of the house then? Favorite room or?
Well, I spend probably most of my time just in the common area, in between the kitchen, dining room, and stuff like that. Unfortunately, mine's not that huge, but like if I was ever going to build a dream home, I'd make sure that's more.
That's why it's your first home, not your dream home yet, right?
Yeah, that's it.
And you're into the rental market as well.
A little bit, yeah.
Where do you like to look for placing your rentals?
Well, obviously the student areas would probably be an ideal choice because you can get a lot more renters there and probably drive the price a little bit more. So the Glebe and Sandy Hill would probably be the ideal areas.
Excellent.
Perfect.
Excellent. So how about we talk a little more about Curry Insurance and what you do, because I'm sure a lot of our listeners when they think of financial planning or financial advice, they'll think about why don't we just go to the bank? Let's go to the local bank. But I used to work at the bank, and I know that is not the best. That is not the optimal solution. And so if you can elaborate on that kind of stuff, that's what I think our listeners would like to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I understand that, most people, just because of the mass marketing and media that the banks are able to provide with their...
That's my biggest problem
with their deep pockets is that, everyone just thinks, okay, I need to save or I need to open an account, and so I have to go to the bank. So, and just because you have your checking or savings account somewhere doesn't mean you're better off, doing your investments or your products, selection with those institutions, because you won't get a better rate just because you have your checking or savings account somewhere, or even your mortgage for that matter. So, a bit about my business, I guess. My grandfather actually started Curry Insurance back in 1953, so we're almost at our 60-year anniversary.
So you've been in Ottawa for a long time, eh?
Yeah, so a lot of roots. He was actually British and moved here, and met my grandmother and decided to live here, and then started the car and house insurance business. And it wasn't really until my father got in the business about 35 years ago where we started a larger focus on on life insurance, health products, and as well as financial planning and investing. So basically, when my father entered the business 35 years ago, he set a whole bunch of records as far as Rookie of the Year went, but then he was actually been the number one agent with Empire Life, which is a major insurer in Canada that year and every year since then. So
oh, wow.
He's been their top agent for 35 years in a row.
And still now.
Really?
Yeah,
That's fantastic.
still
Wow.
not even close. No one's ever, I think, been very close. So I mean,
the way Gretzky insurance.
yeah, and that's just exactly. I mean, some people refer to him that way. So I've got big shoes to fill. Some would say, but I mean, it just.
Well, at least you got to learn from the best, then, right?
That's it. So yeah, I mean, we deal with a lot of companies. I mean, that's just one company that we do like to deal with because. They're still, even though they're listed, the majority of their stock is privately owned by the Jackman family. Who's it's nice to have that feeling. It's a well-run company, so it's one company we do a lot of business with.
That's great. So on a typical day-to-day, I mean, a lot of our listeners are in the same age group, in their late 20-somethings or 30-somethings. If somebody doesn't have any investments out there, what would you suggest would be the best route to go? The way the market is right now, or whatnot. What should somebody be doing?
I mean, even though if you don't have any savings, obviously it'll depend on your personal situation, on like what your income tax bracket is, and stuff like that. But as far as saving money goes, it's obviously never too late to start, and you're better to start somewhere than to do nothing. Like just because you think you don't have enough saved as it is, and you can only save $100 or $200 a month, or even less than that, at least that's something. So, and it will add up over time. Like.
Absolutely.
A lot of clients we say, or even kids I tell, put $5 a week into a jar, or put all your change into a jar and never touch that jar. And after a couple of years, you add that money together and you'll see how much you can come up with. So when you actually are able to do that money in a financial product where you'll actually be earning some return and compound earnings, over a long period of time, you can make some good money. Besides the fact that there are investment concepts that someone like me could help, someone like myself could help people with, even if you are only willing to save a certain amount of dollars per month and don't have much in your name already.
And then also with risk factors, I guess you could help a lot. If somebody's they want to get sort of aggressive with their investing to try to turn the dollar a little quicker versus maybe sitting back and putting into like RRSPs and little things like that. Obviously, you could help out. Regardless of the scale, right?
Yeah, I mean, I have clients that are older in their golden years and low risk, just more focusing on protecting and preserving their capital. And then I obviously have clients in their younger years that are looking to grow. So it just depends. I mean, nothing in really what I do is really risky because obviously I want to be able to sleep at night too. So I don't really want to have clients in anything that I wouldn't be putting my own money into, to be honest. So I mean, it just depends. But there's lots of different products. There's even insurance products that people just don't know about out there, that even if you're just going to save money, you can save money on a monthly basis through an insurance plan and actually get some very good cash values out of it.
Oh, that's great.
And then that's what we try to do every time you're selling a house, I'm doing a mortgage, is make sure that our clients have met with their a financial planner, maybe an insurance planner.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I know there's insurance that comes with the mortgages that I sell, but I wouldn't really press that on my clients unless they've seen a professional.
Yeah, I mean, most of those products are term products where they work more like as if you're going to be buying, car insurance, because you buy it and it's always going to increase. I mean, regardless of whether something happens to you or not, you have no cash values to show for it. And like I said, when it comes to car insurance, the only time you ever get paid out on car insurance is if something happens or if you get into an accident. And ditto with life insurance. The only time term insurance will ever benefit you is if unfortunately you pass away.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's obviously products where you can actually lock in at your current age, especially if you're young. It's really not that expensive, and you'll actually make money off a lot of the policies that I'm able to provide. So it ends up not costing you much for the insurance, where you actually make a profit, and the insurance kind of is a side factor.
So it's not a total waste. Like if you outlive the home or outlive your amortization, you pay off the house, you're not paying insurance for nothing the entire time.
No, there's ways of structuring it actually where a lot of clients of mine have even, basically built their nest egg around their life insurance policy and put, in opposition or in addition to RRSPs is do like a large amount through a whole life policy, and you can actually right now even get 6.5% to 7% dividends on your money within a whole life policy, and people just don't realize that.
People don't
really
realize
good,
that.
yeah.
That's incredible, and I just wish more people would know about the services you provide.
And I think when you said you tell your younger clients, I think that's great. I think that's one thing that younger people just don't think of. And you're right, it's a lot cheaper, isn't it? If when you start, the younger you start, the cheaper it's going to be, and obviously the longer you're saving, the better off you're going to be. But it's just, I think more people just need to think about that.
Yeah, it's not always how much you save; it's how long you save for. Like
Yeah.
I said on the compounding, right? It's a snowball effect, and even with insurance, if you can lock in at an age when you're 25 opposed from 35 or 45 or 55, it's a huge difference because these type of products that I'm talking about, as you get older, they get much more expensive. So if someone turns 50 and then they end up wanting to do this, well, it's a lot more expensive, and most people
sure.
in those cases aren't able to afford it. They end up buying term insurance. Term insurance over time will end up getting really, really expensive because you'll turn 60 and you'll turn 70, and it basically renews itself. So then you're paying X amount of dollars a month, which is
So while you're nice and
hideous.
young and healthy.
Yeah, but then
Yeah.
you'll end up canceling it as these rates get atrocious, and that's how the insurance companies make a lot of money.
All right.
Excellent. So we'll just take a quick break, and then we'll go into some new rule changes and possible rule changes in 2013, some RSP, tax-free savings account information, as well as talking about that looming fiscal cliff.
Ooh, the fiscal cliff.
Oh, the fiscal cliff. So
Watch out, doomsday preppers.
we're going to play one more song from Trees. This is called Udian Lena. So I hope you enjoy this. Thank you. So that was Trees again. I love that little ditty of a tune. It's not too bad at all. So while we were just talking during the break, we thought we'd have Shane talk more about the home buyers plan, because lately some of my first-time home buyers have not been using it to the effect that they should be, and I think we should talk a little more about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the CRA will actually allow any individual to put or deposit up to $25,000 within an RRSP, and then use that money to withdraw for their first house. So as long as that's in account for 90 days, you can withdraw that money, tax penalty free, withholding tax free, which in most cases, if you're taking money out of an RRSP, you will pay taxes. And you can use that to purchase your first home. Now, you may as well use that to your advantage because it's a tax benefit. You get your tax deduction even if you're not making a big income in the year that you're putting it in. You can actually carry that deduction forward to following years. And as far as repayment of that goes, you actually don't have to pay anything back in that calendar year. You start 2 years later, and then it's over a schedule of 15 years. So, for example, even if you only do $15,000, you do $1,000 a year for 15 years after, and
Which is quite feasible for most people, regardless.
well, yeah, I mean, the deduction you're getting, you hopefully should be able to get some of that money back to pay for it.
Exactly.
So,
which is perfect when people first buy their first home. There's a lot of things to purchase in a house that people don't realize. That first year, you're spending money furnishing your house and everything, and
Yep.
so that's great that once it hits tax time, if you can get some of that money back, put it right in your pockets, like you said, that's fantastic.
I love that idea. Just getting that money back, putting it towards instead of taking a credit line or working.
Yeah.
Then you're in a hole right away.
When CRA puts these clauses into the plans, you're better in most cases to take advantage of it for sure.
Absolutely. So that brings us to tax-free savings accounts RSP limits. Possible increases going on in 2013 and.
Yep. In 2013, the RSP limit is now going, let's start with TFSA. It's a bit easier. TFSA limit's going up to $5,500. Opposed in the past 4 years, it's been $5,000. So anyone that's been working and or has a social insurance number and above 18 for the past 4 years, and now it's 5 years this year, has a limit of $25,500 that they're able to invest within a tax-free savings account at their own discretion.
Now, I know these tax-free savings accounts, they're relatively new. A lot of people don't have them yet. They don't understand why they should get a tax-free savings account. What's the main benefit? Why should people get one of these accounts set up?
The main benefit of the tax-free savings account is what happens is if you just invest, say, that $25,000 into a non-registered, aka a regular account, whatever income or gains you make from that account, you pay what's called a capital gains tax on. So say you invest that $25,000 and you make 20%, you make $5,000, in which case you pay capital gains on that money. And capital gains tax would be 50% of that gain added to your income. So you take 50% of the $5,000. It's $2,500. You add that to your income for the year. Now, opposed to the tax-free savings account, where if you make that same amount, you take it out, you reinvest it, doesn't matter, but you'll never pay taxes on that. So ideally, if you can use this to your advantage and then continue, stockpiling this on while the CRA allows it, hopefully they never discontinue it. Hopefully, as the years pass on, you have a lot of money working there for you, growing tax-free.
So ideally, what young people should do then is get a tax-free savings account set up, and then pull the funds from that money and put that into their RSPs or other investments?
No, not necessarily. It just depends on the personal circumstances. I mean, if your rule of thumb basically would be is if you're planning on making a higher income in the future,
which hopefully everyone is,
and you haven't purchased your first home yet, then ideally it's probably better for you to put in a tax-free savings account at this time and wait to deposit into an RSP, because you want to use the RSP tax deduction you're going to get when you're making a larger income. So it's better usually to hold off on those cases, especially if you're a pensionable person, which many people in Ottawa are. So yeah, I mean, it really just depends. But that's when you meet with someone like myself or a financial advisor, and establish what plan is best for you.
Well, that's great.
Absolutely. So just right before we get to the events for New Year's, can you tell us a little more? So before the fun of New Year's, let's talk about the fiscal cliff.
The fiscal cliff, then. I saw on Doomsday Preppers, everyone says that's why they're prepping, is for this fiscal cliff. Not an apocalypse or anything, but the crash of a market or so. What is a fiscal cliff for those that don't know?
Well, the fiscal cliff is only really prevalent in the United States, and it under the Bush administration, they basically granted large companies tax incentives to grow their business, and there's many factors and variations of what will be impacted by the fiscal cliff, but this is the main thing: is that these tax benefits are basically set to expire come January 1st, 2013. So what would happen subsequently is that these companies would be forced to pay much higher taxes, in which case unemployment could suffer, because they would thus have to lay off a lot of employees, which would affect the unemployment rate, which has steadily been decreasing, fortunately. So yeah, I mean, it is definitely a worry. I mean, there seems to be a lot of work being done on both sides. Let's hope they come to an agreement. I believe they will. It's just a matter of when exactly it's going to be. I believe it will be, by the time this gets aired, it's actually going to be, very, close to either have been recently completed, or it should be in the near future, because I don't see this persisting long into 2013, because it's too big to not avoid. I mean, as far as the U.S. economy goes, it's been rebounding very well. I mean, their housing market is actually starting to recover, which is huge. Unemployment rate is lowering. Interest rates being at lows are great for the economy. They basically said they'll even stop quantitative easing, which is basically them injecting money into the market to help the stock markets and the overall economy when unemployment rate hits 6%. So we're not too far away from that number even. So I mean, there's lots of things to be happy about with the way the U.S. has been coming out of the recession. It just really, this is the last thing that they have to.
Well, that's good. And as you said, we shouldn't really worry too much about that here in Canada, right?
No, it's gonna have.
I mean,
an
obviously,
impact.
they cough, we get sick.
Yeah, no, it's just like any recession. I mean, whatever happens, if the U.S. market falters because of this, I think Canada will also have the same windfall. But I do believe that they're going to come to an agreement, and when they do, it should be very good for the market.
Well, that's good. That's good to hear.
All right, Shane. Well, thank you so much for coming on.
For all that.
That was very insightful. I'm sure the listeners will take so much from you. I will definitely have you on in the future. Have a great new year. Where can people reach you?
Okay, someone needs to contact me. They can either email, I guess, is shane@curryinsurance.com, and I spell my last name Currey. Our office number is 613-733-3312.
Wonderful.
Awesome. All right, so we're going to quickly get through some events.
New Year's.
Quickly get through some events in New Year's. All right, so where are you going to go on New Year's?
Well, there's a variety of options. I know our good friend Sasha LeClaire is going to be DJing at the Drink, so there's one viable option.
All right. What about New Year's on Spark Street? That's going to be featuring the Arkells. That's a new thing that we're trying
this year. That's going to be big, for sure.
That's going to be really interesting to see how that goes on. I'm really interested to see how that goes. We also have some other great events at Babylon. They're having Silk and Lauman's going to be there, presented by Antique Skate Show. You've got Rick Shirelli's having an alcohol-free family 2013.
There you go. Take the kids out.
There you go. Brent Franklin plays. Time Code's having something great. That's at Erie Cafe, 953 Somerset. Le Petit Chicago. There's having some great stuff there as well. You have that's the Big Apple is New Year's Eve is the one that Sasha's DJing. So that's going to be interesting. We got Diamond 2013 happening at that new club YOW downtown on Rideau Street.
Oh, I hear that's a beauty.
It's going to be a beauty. As always, Barrymore's having their New Year's Eve.
Yeah, no shortage of events, that's for sure.
Oh, no shortage. You got a masquerade thing going on at Mercury Lounge. That could be interesting as well. There's so much to do. It's great. Thank you so much for Ellie Reviews. Ellie goes around and she does all these reviews around what's going on in the city. That's eventfulcapital.wordpress.com. So that's an interesting one. So enjoy that and have a great New Year's. Thank you so much.
Happy New Year's. Are we going to close off with another track from the Trees?
So this is the last track from the Trees. It's called Kilimanjaro. Thank you so much, and we'll see you in the new year.